Welcome back. Now that we've learned about Prion, we need to get there. I wonder if we can use rune transfer on the book. I guess if the naming rune of Prion is on the front, that should work. I'm not sure whether it is the naming rune. Shall we try transferring the Prion onto the steering stone? Haplo looks so silly, his face doesn't match his voice. I love it. Maybe. That looks like what we want. 10 points just for that, huh? All right. I'll do a quick save here. Just in case. Let's take the steering stone for a spin. You call on the power of the steering stone to take you through the Death Gate and into Prion World of Fire. Whole new world. Not intended as a literary reference that time. Look at it. Your ship arrives over a field of green, trees large enough to hold cities. One of them has a flat area just big enough to land the ship on. But something else has caught your eye. A glowing crystal city nestled in a carpet of vegetation. You decide to investigate and land the ship in the clearing nearby. All right. I wonder if we can go freely between those two places. Looks like that's our first stop. It isn't very fiery, is it? Judging from what we had read, I didn't get the impression that it was very fiery, except for the four suns, which might be what the fire refers to. Dare we exit our ship? Your ship sits on one of the only clear regions on Prion. To the west, a structure of mammoth proportions towers over you. Okay, is that the west? It says Citadel. Although the Citadel appears to be one building, it is the size of a city. Crystal spires tower over the high wall which surrounds whatever lies within. Well, I guess we found the Citadel. That drew our eye pretty easily. And because we read the book, we know what it is. It's right there. So this is the unification site for this world, just like Drevlin was the unification site for Arianas. This flower looks conspicuous. Ooh. You rip the plant from the ground, roots and all. Well, that's nice. What is it? The plant isn't particularly interesting, except for its bright pink flowers. All right. The music here is lovely, isn't it? And the place itself is lovely too. Prion is my favorite part of this game. Even without remembering every detail of what the playthrough requires and what's in it, I love this world in the game. So if you're watching, I hope you enjoy it. We can go west to the Citadel or south. Let's go to the Citadel. You stand outside the huge Sartan edifice. We know that it's a Sartan edifice. A wall surrounds it. There are no obvious doors, only the alcove to the south. Wow, we can actually go all four directions here. I guess west again would be going in, and we can't do that. Sword recess, staff recess, and hammer recess. Well, that sure seems like dwarves, maybe human, and then sword is elven. So I guess these talismans are tools, implements. Lexi, this really is a great piece of music. It's so good. And so simple. Eric Heberlin just got that formula down. Evocative. Enter. You can't get inside the Citadel as long as that wall blocks your way. What? Alright. Oh, hello. A strange animal, seated on the ground in front of a bush, startles at your entrance and leaps onto a branch. A tree grows in the middle of a patch of nut-bearing bushes. On a branch, an animal perches, watching you. Is it the animal? Okay. Hi, you look nice. The animal most resembles a cross between a squirrel and a monkey. Under a coat of thin fur, sleek muscles move as it sways back and forth on its branch. You get the impression that it could prove quite formidable if provoked, despite that there's nothing threatening about its manner. In fact, it seems to be alternating between wary curiosity and hunger. Its eyes travel back and forth between you to the bushes of nuts. Did we just keep it from having dinner? Lexi says, to the dwarves, the mighty hammer to create, to the elves, the deft blade to protect, to the humans, a stick to open that one chest on the elven ship. One of the nuts pulls away from its stalk rather easily, leaving behind a hole in the shell where the stalk was attached. A hole in the shell, eh? The nut is about the size of a human head. That's huge for a nut. That mixed squirrel and monkey is not a good mix. I would be terrified of this thing in real life, right? I mean, no reason to believe it's a combination of those two. It might just be a terrifically evolved squirrel or a monkey that evolved with more fur and more of a quadrupedalism. You see a hole where it pulled away from the stalk where you picked it. Inside, you see that the nut is mostly hollow, except for a small amount of meat. The shell is incredibly hard. It feels like stone. Well, there are a lot of discarded shells here. You sift through the pile of shells and finally select one that's to your liking. So we have a shell too. That's nice. It's a half shell, harder and thicker than you would have imagined. The shape reminds you of a bowl. Okay, well, it does look like a bowl. You hear the ocean. All right, can we give the nut to the animal? The tree doesn't appear to be interested in the nut. That was my fault. You toss the nut up to the animal perched on the branch. A lightning-quick claw snatches the nut from the air. The animal tucks it close to his furry body and inserts two pointy talons into the hole in the shell. With a crack, the nut breaks open. It's cracking open nuts the size of human heads. No way, back away slowly. We're gonna see how this plays out. Even from here, you can smell the explosion of a rich, nutty aroma coming from the exposed nut meat. The animal carefully sniffs the interior of the nut. Then, when it appears satisfied, eats the meat in a few quick bites. It discards the shell onto a pile of like shells and settles back down onto the branch to rest. Okay. I want another nut. We don't get more points for it though, unfortunately. Nuts are full of fat. You know what else is a lot of rich fat? The human brain. Exactly. Oh, I see what you're saying. And we have a number of orifices on our head that may facilitate cracking. Lexi, I feel like you have a certain predisposition toward this situation. But listen to the music, it's so friendly. The tree is small compared to its gigantic neighbors. A branch a little out of your reach is occupied by a strange, nervous-looking animal. See, he's nervous. Apparently we can't go any further into the woods, though. You know, one side comment about this game. I've barely had to pay attention to these verbs, these very traditional point-and-click verbs here. Because I feel like the game does its job in inferring, you know, the non-ridiculous course of action that I would want to take given what I... Nervous creatures attack. All right, let's go back. Where should we go next? West was to the animal. North goes to the edge of a thick forest. An old hollow tree stump sticks out of the ground. Okay. We might be able to go further into the forest. I feel like this is one of these parts of the games where in a typical game you could die around this kind of a situation. The lighting in this picture is beautiful though. It tempts you in. I think I trust Deathgate a little more than other games though. I don't feel like it's going to pull a Kyrandia or a Space Quest on me. The stump has only one branch, and it is rather oddly shaped. It sticks out from the front at a curious angle. Am I going to have to use one of these verbs? How about open the branch? I can look at, or I can look. Huh. And it says look at if I do. That's weird. How about take the branch? No push or pull here. The stump has been dead for a long time. Little holes in the wood show that it is hollow. One twisted branch sticks out at an odd angle from the front. I would wander around here happily, says Lexi. All right, let's go further. The forest is thick and tall, allowing scant sunlight to break through. Something about it makes you uneasy. You could swear you saw the trees move, but when you examine them closely, they remain still. Can I go that way? The forest is unnaturally still. There are no sounds of birds or animals. There is no wind, but I do see... Yeah. I'm a little nervous too. I think we know what we're seeing here, and I don't know if we want to go further at this point. I think back away slowly would be a little better placed with respect to these guys than with respect to a monkey squirrel that just wants to enjoy its nuts. Let's head back. Oh, is east into the Citadel then? No, east is back to the ship. So south must be into the Citadel. That's confusing. Well, maybe we should try to go deeper into the woods. Let's give another save for safety, yes? Lexi, the Monkerel can't be reasoned with. These guys only attack if they're attacked, the book seems to suggest. Yeah, you might be right. Alright, let's see if we can go further. Can we select? Oh, it actually says that they're titans. And attack is a possible option. Hidden among the trees, you catch only fleeting glimpses of the giants. They look human, though with three major differences. They stand about 20 feet high, they lack hair, and they have no eyes. Right. Okay, let's see if we can go further. You start to wander deeper into the forest when something very large, something you thought was a tree, moves threateningly towards you. You stumble backwards to where you started and the motion stops. Okay. I think we are not allowing ourselves to go further. We do have salve, that's nice. We got to keep that. So I feel there's got to be something with this tree, don't you? Can we open the stump? Open a stump? Where'd you get an idea like that? I got it from the branch. What if we put the hole from the nut on the branch? No. What else do we have in our inventory? We still have the child's doll, too. He didn't want that back? Fascinating. If you shave your head and poke your eyes out with a branch, you'll basically be a baby titan, says Lexi. Yes, that's brilliant, Lexi. Well done. I guess we could send the little walking doll in. I wonder if the squirrel friend would like the pink nut. We can eat the pink plant? Since the pink plant doesn't look even remotely like the animal's favorite food, it pays no attention to it. Alright. What if we gave it another nut? Look at the shell. You already have a shell. Alright. I like to have a nut with us at all times, though. That's good. Lexi, no, he made a better life for himself. No need for the, help me, mister, me father's dead, like. Give the Titans a flower? What is that word? Laputa? Looking that up right now. I'm not finding it. Is that a proper noun? Laputa is a flying island described in the 1726 book Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift. Really? It's a flying island? Oh, and in a Ghibli film. I see. And we also have this single shear, which isn't doing us many favors. Well, it could be that there's another course of action available to us here, but... Which way is to our ship? Here we go. I wonder if we can visit that other possible landing place we saw. Yeah, we can go to the Tree City. I think that's it, though, right? Lexi, in it there's a big robot who has a flower. I didn't know Laputa is Swiftian, that's great, yeah. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Alright, we're here. Let's see what this Tree City is all about. I knew it right away. This, I think, is my favorite piece of music in this game. Giant trees support your ship over unseen ground far, far below. Thanks, Zankoth. Welcome. Please make yourself comfortable if you please to. Hey, there we go. All right. Which direction is back into our ship? Not this one. This is a clear, flat area nestled amidst the branches of this giant tree. You see another tree over a narrow but deep drop. Okay. And this looks like a domicile. This clothesline here. Yoink. You untie the thick clothesline and coil it up as you take it. Okay. Anybody home? Hi. Civilization exists on Brian. The chamber appears natural, as if the wood of the tree grew with this space in mind. That's pretty good. You step into the middle of a busy kitchen, but on your arrival, all noise and movement suddenly cease. 3 pairs of eyes lock onto you, 2 elven women halt their conversation, and a child drops her broken doll and simply stares.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
Hi there. Oh, First contact is always a little awkward, isn't it? Lexi, all these elves are so cute. It's nice to see a chubby elf. Well, she seems to like to cook. And by extension, eat. Let's see.
I'm just a traveler.
I guess traveler is a more polite name for refugee. Let me give you a piece of advice. You can't afford to be polite when you're looking for work. You are looking for work, aren't you? That's the only reason humans ever come here.
Human refugees looking for work, eh?
Why do you assume I'm looking for work?
You humans tend to avoid us. Yes, unless you're looking for work. Humans are always complaining that their lives are so difficult. Those who want it a bit easier come to us. It makes sense to me. If I had the choice of living with barbarians, hunting my food every day, or working for a stable, civilized people, I'd take the work. Now the question is, are you willing to?
Well, goodness, yeah, you bet.
Sure, I'll give it a try. What do you need me to do?
I'm glad to hear it. I'm so behind just now that I would welcome anyone's help, even from a human refugee. The king has decided to throw a party with his usual 2-hour notice. Get over to the counter and start kneading that dough. Let's see if you can handle that task before we move you on to anything more complicated.
She seems to have her ducks in a row. And apparently there's a king here too. You edge over to the counter, pick up the lump of dough, and half-heartedly begin to knead it. While you're doing this, the cook resumes her flurry of activity, continuing the conversation with the other woman as if there had been no interruption. She hurries about the room, tending to several tasks at once. At the same time, she not only manages to keep up her end of the running conversation, but the serving girl's side as well.
I'm worried about the children. I don't have a problem with them playing together, but the royal prince has begun to join in. There are human children in that group. You watch. Nothing good can come of that. No offense, you understand.
I sense a bit of prudence, if not full-blown animosity. Lexi says, are humans a bit in the middle of an elf-dwarf feud? Possibly. But the answer is clear. You need to knead.
Anyway, I've saved the worst for last. There's a human adult out there. He's talking with the children, putting all sorts of ideas in their heads, ideas about all of the races living together, treating each other as equals. Can you believe it?
What?
Rumor has it that he's a wizard. A child described some of his spells, and they're like nothing we've ever seen. In fact, the spells weren't even similar to any of those cast by the humans. Either this human is the most powerful to come along, or he's a member of a different race entirely. Wouldn't that be exciting?
What other races are there? Anyway, interesting. Possible wizard here? With unfamiliar spells?
Maybe the child was exaggerating. You know how imaginative they can be.
Thank you, serving woman. To add a bit of distillation to this conversation, goodness me, goodness me.
Of course, that's true. Those children can come up with some wild ideas. Still, it would have been exciting.
Why are you so interested in the existence of another race that you've never heard of? Are you the kind that listens to, like, Coast to Coast AM? You notice that the small elf child on the floor has been watching you with wide eyes and an unreadable expression. After a moment, she returns to playing with the battered, pathetic doll. She holds the doll above the floor and tries to make it walk around, but the fact that the doll is missing its head and a leg seemed to make the experience less enjoyable than it should be. After a few moments, she drops the doll on the floor and sighs dejectedly. I imagine we could make her day if we wanted to. But maybe she'll hit us with an iron bar and trap us with a net in a back alley. That's all we know to expect at this point. The dough is sticky and in serious need of knead. The cook pulls a tray of sweet cakes from the oven. The aroma makes your mouth water. A loud buzzing draws your attention to a small window. You see a nasty-looking insect about the size of your fist flying into the kitchen, also attracted by the sweet smell. The serving maid screams and puts herself as far from the bug as she can. What? We don't remember any of that. The blow to the head took care of our memories of that. Yes, of course. We didn't see nothing, man. Only the cook manages to remain calm. As the insect hovers over the cake, she pulls out an ugly yellow flower from an apron pocket and crushes it in her hand. She unfolds her fingers and the room is suddenly filled with a horrible odor. The odor makes you feel somewhat queasy, but it seems to have a more substantial effect on the insect, which darts back out the window. Well, this is an unexpectedly olfactory adventure.
It must be bug season again. Those terrible insects are such a bother. Every time I make something sweet, they show up. seemingly out of nowhere. On one occasion, I was actually stung by one of them. I was in bed for a week.
Well, you still have some gumption and gall, considering that was a past experience of yours.
These petals should do the trick of keeping them away today, but this is my last plant. I'm going to have to get the children to start harvesting the stinkweed again.
Looks like we can get a word in edgewise at this point. Finally.
What was that bug?
Their hives appear during every harvest season. The insects that live in them usually leave us alone, unless they are angered or they smell something sweet. That drives them crazy. I always keep some stinkweed around, just in case.
Why does the flower drive off the insect?
As much as the bugs are drawn to the sweet smells of my cooking, they are repulsed by the smell of stinkweed. Actually, stinkweed isn't all that bad until you crush the petals, but then you'd best be as far away from it as you can get.
Where do you find that yellow plant?
I'm not sure. The plant grows wild in bunches, but it's difficult to find. I have all the children out searching for it, and since I reward their finds with sweets, the plant is in high demand. Whenever it's discovered in the wild, the children return with as much as they can carry. They practically drool over that patch growing on the nearest tree, but no one can get to it.
May I have one of those cakes?
Absolutely not. I'm preparing these cakes for the king's party.
I guess we couldn't afford to be polite when we needed work.
You mean it's going to smell like that in here all day? I think I'm done with this dough, you see? All nice and needed.
Well, you've done a pretty poor job on the dough, but I don't think I'm going to get much better out of you. Leave then. I don't blame you for wanting to get away from the stinkweed.
It's the only way we can think to end the conversation, lady. Sorry. What's your game, serving girl? Serving girl is too engrossed in the cook's chatter to pay attention to you. Yeah, she is quite enrapturing, isn't she? This lady is salt of the Prian, hard-working, and has some questionable opinions. That's as literary as anything that's come through this screen tonight. You don't quite understand how an oven, grown into the wooden wall of a tree, isn't a fire hazard. The warmth flowing from it makes the room a little uncomfortable. On a tray inside it, you see a pile of golden sweet cakes. Ah, sweet cakes is not hyphenated in this case. I've noticed a few inconsistencies and errors in the text this playthrough that I don't think I'd ever noticed before. Or at least hadn't remembered. Lexi only wants me to do one thing here, and that's just donate the waif's gift to the child. She will steal me a sweet cake. Alright, let's try it. Here you go. The child looks at the toy in your hand and smiles. She throws aside the broken doll as she jumps up, claps, and runs over to grab the better toy. She turns it around in her hands and laughs happily. I'm glad she didn't have a sentimental attachment to that doll that's about to sort of tatter on her.
You're nice. I like you. You have to meet my friends. Come on, let's go.
She runs outside and beckons you to follow. All of the text is white outside of the conversations. 5 points and she's gone. Alrighty, would you like some marmalade?
I can't imagine that would make my sweet cakes taste any better.
The text is different than what you said. You try pounding on the dough for a while, but that doesn't do very much for its consistency. You're not very good at this. That's because patrons don't know anything. That's right, me. Did you hear that?
I didn't think you'd ever get here. Come on, let's go. It's through here.
She wriggles through a clump of bushes to the east. All right. East is this way. We could go north in other directions, but I think we'll follow her. Oh. You come upon a group of children gathered at the ledge. They're calling to someone below. One smaller child is crying. You stand on a large curving branch that overlooks a sheer drop, which extends further than you can see. A young man stands on a ledge below you looking up. When you glance over the ledge, you see a young elf trapped on a lower ledge, trying without much success to climb back up.
These are my friends. That doorknob down there is the prince. I guess he finally got up enough courage to go after the golden staff. He's been talking about it long enough. It doesn't look like he made it very far, though.
Golden staff, eh? Yeah. You can't attract the attention of any of the children. They're too busy playing their own games. They seem to be preoccupied with the prince down there. Hello, doorknob. What news have you?
Hello, sir. Could you help me off of this ledge, please? Don't tell anybody. My father would be so angry.
Who's your father?
I'm the royal prince. My father is the king. Don't think you can take me hostage, though. My father would find and kill you before he'd pay anything.
Take you prisoner? It never entered my mind.
Whew. Thank you, sir. I'd appreciate any help you could give me.
Our diplomacy efforts are going well?
How'd you get down there?
It's a long story. If you help me out, I'll tell you.
How far is the drop? It looks pretty deep.
It's the deepest thing in the whole world. Very, very deep. Deeper than you can imagine. There's no way in except straight down, and it goes all the way down to the ground.
And we do know that we're very high up.
Didn't make it very far before you turned back, did you?
I thought I could make it. I had myself talked into it, but when I began the descent, I realized how difficult, no, impossible the climb was. I slipped and fell onto this ledge and couldn't climb back up. So I'm stuck here.
Excuse me. Hey, could you help me out, but don't bother kidnapping me? I wonder if it's deep. Sounds like it's deep. Yes. Well, the only thing that can get the prince out of this is his silver tongue.
I'll give it some thought. Don't go anywhere.
Very well. I guess I'll wait here.
Maybe it's the prince who's diplomatic, and we only think that we're diplomatic because he's doing so well at it. That's the sign of a good prince. Is the rope gonna be enough? You lower one end of the clothesline to the struggling prince. He grabs hold of it gratefully, and you haul him up. Yay, it went well.
Thank you, sir, for coming to my aid. I would have made it out eventually by myself, but your help sped things up quite a bit. I am at your service, sir. Anything I can do for you, I will.
Well, that's a fine prince, isn't it?
So, why did you climb down there? Not the smartest thing in the world to do.
I know. It's a long story. I was searching for the staff. I figured that I wanted it more than anyone who had gone before me. It turns out that I had much more enthusiasm than ability.
And he can learn a lesson.
Staff? What staff?
I guess everyone isn't familiar with the legend. I'll tell it to you. Ages and ages ago, the gods gave 3 items to the races. To the dwarves, they gave a golden hammer. To the humans, they gave a golden sword. They gave us a golden staff.
I had the feeling that when staff was mentioned, I had the assignments of the talismans wrong. And that was what I thought it probably would be after all.
The items were supposed to symbolize the race's roles in a new, unified society. The dwarves were to be the workers, the builders. That's what the hammer represented. The humans were supposed to be the protectors, hence the sword. We elves were the scholars, the leaders, of course. I guess it didn't quite work out that way.
It didn't, but I'm surprised that anyone in the world knows about the unification plan.
After one of the ancient wars with the humans, my ancestor rebelled against the symbolism of the staff. He cursed the idea of living and working with the other races. So he took the staff and cast it into the maw, never to be seen again.
Oh. Well, that's a problem.
He did it in the heat of anger, and soon regretted it. The staff represented more than the ancient legends. It was also a symbol of leadership. Without it, he chanced losing his power. So my ancestor climbed down into the maw to reclaim the staff. He never returned.
Oh. And that's an even bigger problem on top of it.
Since then, members of the royal family have sought the staff. Every few generations, an elf will climb down into the maw, but not one has ever made it back. We don't even know what's at the bottom. We only know that there is solid ground, and the only way in is straight down. We call it the Maw because it swallows up anything that enters it.
This is quite the history.
How could anything be worth risking your life like that?
Naturally, I wanted to regain the staff for my people. My father would be so proud of me. They would write songs about me. I would have done what all of my ancestors failed to do. Don't you think that's enough?
Well, if they'd write songs about you. Lexi, Steve, I think I love this game. It's so charming. Yeah. And maybe even without seeing the rest of it, you can imagine why this is my favorite section. It gets better soon, I think. All right. Why else would he have done it? It almost seems like he knows why else he might have done it.
You tell me, lad.
You're right. I never really cared about the acclaim. There is another reason. There's a girl, a human girl. I love her.
Interspecies mating rituals? Maybe that's a bit forward.
Who is this girl?
She's beautiful. She's a hunter, she's a musician, she's a leader, she's everything I ever wanted. And not only is she human, but she's a princess as well. And she doesn't even know I exist. Now without the staff, I'll never get a chance.
He's a prince, she's a princess, and she doesn't know he exists?
A human? Won't your father be a bit angry with your choice?
I don't care. At least she's royalty. My father will learn to accept it. He has to.
That's the kind of determination that got him stuck on a ledge.
How would possessing the staff help you to get this girl?
The humans believe that the items from the gods are symbols of rulership. Every human leader since the beginning has carried the golden sword. The current monarch, the princess's father, has been ill for some time. While he's incapacitated, she has accepted the responsibility of rulership. With it, she has taken the sword.
Hello, kitten. I see you have grown into your new name. We are playing Deathgate from 1994 based on the fantasy novel series by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. It is a gorgeous point-and-click game from around the time of Myst. The art is mainly hand-drawn. It's largely fueled by dialogue and literature, but it certainly has a lot of logical puzzles and a great magic system, as well as a beautiful, beautiful soundtrack. I hope you make yourself comfortable if you feel like you want to see a little bit of it. But in any case, thank you for saying hi. It's nice to see you again. At the moment, we're investigating this situation. It looks like this prince is interested in a human princess. He had just said that the princess currently has the human relic because the human king, I suppose, is ill.
She takes her station very seriously, and she'll only consider a suitor of equal status. Because the humans equate rulership with the possession of the godly items, she won't even look in my direction if I don't have the staff.
So she only wants to marry royalty. He knows that about her. And he thinks that having the staff will increase his standing in her mind. Hello, Title Dreamer. I very much agree with you about this game. That is why I am cherishing this playthrough. My first one on Twitch. Oh, Pseudonymous. Hello. Do you know that it's excellent because you've played it? Or do you know that it's excellent because you're just drinking it in and you have come to that conclusion? Laloom, I am a patron, not a Prian.
Where did you meet her?
I met her at one of our gatherings. Lately, she's been coming to hear the wizard speak. I think she's interested in his message of racial harmony. In fact, she'll be coming to a meeting tonight. I was hoping to have the staff by then. Oh well.
Yeah, it seems like it might take a little longer than that. Based on the last 10 minutes of your game, that's good. I think the game deserves to be evaluated that swiftly.
That's all there is to it? You get the staff, and it gets you the girl?
Well, not quite. I have to earn her respect, and I'll never get it without the staff. After that, I'm not sure what to do. I think I have to soften her up somehow. Maybe I need something pretty to give her. Even if I do get in her good graces, I won't know what to say. I always get tongue-tied whenever I talk to her. I just don't know the right words. I think if I had something nice to give her and the right words to say, I'd have a chance.
So you have talked to her. She does know you exist. You just think that she doesn't remember you.
Let me get this straight. You need the staff, the right words, and a pretty present? Sounds like you've been thinking about this for quite a while.
Forever. I decided that if I couldn't have her, I didn't want to go on living. That's why I tried to get the staff. If I didn't make it, I'd be out of my misery.
That sounds pretty serious.
Enough about this girl.
All right.
Let's use this line since we still have it. Lexi, here, kid. You thrust your hand forward, and your grip is wilted flowers atop a dying plant wrenched from the ground roots and all. I don't remember what exactly to do in this situation from my past playthroughs, but I think that is likely.
Enthusiasm won't help you climb down a tree that is many miles high.
I found that out. My father forbade me to go after the staff. Too many of my ancestors entered the maw and never returned. I guess he knew what he was talking about.
Let's talk about something else.
Certainly.
What is this place?
This is the maw. Called that because anything that goes in gets swallowed up. It's a sheer drop, ringed by trees on all sides. The only way to the bottom is straight down. It's an evil place. I'll never go near it again.
So you've given up your prospects of getting the staff back? Even though you can't live without it?
You're the Prince of the Elves?
Yes, I am heir to the throne. My father is the ruler of all elves on Prian. If he knew what I had done, I'd never see the light of outdoors again.
He speaks proudly of his father. Let's see. He's going to learn to whittle. Yes, perhaps. And lie. Does he know about the Citadel? He does know about the reunification plan, so this seems possible.
Do you know anything about a big, ancient building? It has a door with 3 symbols on it.
An ancient building. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Perhaps the wizard can help you. He's been around forever.
So he does know about the human wizard who supposedly talks to children.
Have you met this human wizard who supposedly talks to children?
Of course. His name is Zifnab. He's a human, but he's the strangest human I've ever met. Though admittedly, I haven't met all that many. He resembles you somewhat, but in place of your black hair with white tips, he has white hair with black tips. Do you know him?
It certainly sounds like he's a Sartan. I don't think I'm going to tell him that we're the same race.
I'm not sure. Tell me more about him.
He stays out of sight most of the time and only shows up when we have scheduled a meeting. He also makes sure to keep out of the way of adults. They'll keep him away from us, he claims. Would you do that? Keep him away from us?
He's trying to get directly to the kids. And he's not dead. If he's not dead, he's the first living Sartan we know to exist. He's indoctrinating our children, the peace agenda. Beep boop. Why would I do that?
Why would I do that?
The other adults claim that we should stop listening to him, that he's a bad influence. The things he says about racial harmony are compost. I can't believe that. Much of what he says makes sense, at least when he's coherent. You saved my life, but I can't let you near him if you try to keep him away from us. Would you do that?
He's asking the question again? Directly?
Of course not. He sounds harmless enough.
Whew. I'm so glad. I would really like you to meet him. He does the most spectacular tricks. Even when we don't understand half of what he says, he's always entertaining. If you'd like, I can lead you to the meeting place. There's a gathering tonight.
That would be the gathering where you expect to see this human princess. At least when he's coherent, yes.
Wait a second. I have a few more questions for you.
Certainly.
We have to ask this one.
You're at my service, eh?
Yes, sir. I'll do anything within reason. Answer any questions you may have. You look new to this land. I'll be glad to help you out.
Very well. Let's be off. I'll accompany you to this gathering of yours.
Very good. The meeting should be fun, even though I didn't get the staff. Please follow me.
He wanders off into a shaded grove to the southeast. All right. We could follow them to the southeast, and I think we will shortly. But first, there are some other areas we have not explored yet. And they've been waiting for us to do so. Lexi, he's taking losing his chance to impress the love of his young life pretty well. Yeah, well, if we've learned anything about this young man in these few minutes, it's that he can learn a lesson. He seems impulsive, but he doesn't spin his wheels, if you will. The chasm between the two trees is too large to jump. Okay, and I think this is back in the house. Oh, hello again.
I've no time for you and your foolishness. You're no kitchen worker, so you've no place here. Take it outside, please.
All right, sorry. She kicked us out. Man, she really does set a tone. And that's where our ship is. So what have we here? A far tree, and we have a branch. A branch from the far tree reaches over the expanse between the two trees. Cool. Don't suppose we can swing over there. The branch reaches from the far tree. Even the nearest tip isn't close enough to tie the clothesline to.